We're going to talk a little bit about a very important aspect of deaf culture, which is or can be a little bit misunderstood. It is called straight talk, among other things, but we're going to call it straight talk. Um, different cultures have varying degrees of directness or indirectness in their everyday communication. Americans as a group show a preference for direct, clear communication. Preferred Japanese communication, on the other hand, for example, is indirect. If shown on a continuum, it would look like this, with Japanese culture being very indirect over here and direct American culture being very direct over here. Being more direct than your culture is comfortable with is considered rude. So wherever that lies on the spectrum, more direct than your culture is acceptable in your culture is rude. So hearing Americans consider themselves very direct and straightforward, but in reality, there are other cultures that are more direct in their communication than hearing Americans are. In Israel, for example, where an American would say, "Excuse me, but I disagree with what you've just said," an Israeli will say, "You're wrong." Softening a negative statement is seen in Israeli culture as being artificial and insincere. Deaf culture is one of the cultures with a more direct communication style than hearing American culture. German is a little more direct than American. Deaf is more direct than that, and Israeli is more direct than that. Deaf culture is more blunt than hearing American culture. That's what we might call straight talk. It's just being blunt. Deaf people say things as they are and dislike ambiguity. Being honest and even raw is an indication of solidarity and intimacy between members of the culture. It's the way you would talk to your siblings, said Dr. Thomas Holcomb, who himself is deaf. Straightforward personal comments are common in deaf culture, such as, "You don't look very good today. I liked your old hair color better. You've gained weight. That's not a good color on you." This is based in a familial closeness within the community. You can count on the community to be real with you. These are not intended to be offensive statements. They're just information. That's how they are seen and received in deaf culture. It's just a straightforward way of telling people like it is. Think about the way you would talk to your siblings. Yeah, that hair color doesn't look very good on you, right? You're just going to let them know. What is considered TMI, or too much information, in hearing American culture is not only normal, but expected in American deaf culture. From detailed health problems to how much money a person makes, sharing personal information is part of deaf culture. So you might be wondering, can you still be rude in deaf culture? Yes, you definitely can. In deaf culture, the basic principle of etiquette is to act in a way that facilitates communication and relationships. Those are the two big things, communication and relationships. So some rude behaviors in deaf culture would be withholding information, not using polite signs, such as curious. Like if you want to know how much money a person makes, you wouldn't just say, "So how much money did you make?" The polite way of saying that is, "I'm curious. I'm just wondering." Another rude behavior would be turning away when someone is signing to you. Very rude. And making judgments on hearing status, use of voice, use of hearing devices. Those things are considered divisive and don't facilitate strong relationships. And so deciding that another person should or shouldn't use a hearing aid or their voice or whatever is rude. So just remember, in deaf culture, communication is prized and cherished. That's what it's all about.